I'm pure comedic genius. Impromptu. Oh gosh, the buzzer phone. Are you recording this? Nobody likes you. Harps.
Okay, welcome to another episode of the Get Buckets podcast, sponsored today by Noah, not only the official Old Testament character of the Get Buckets podcast, but also the official character of Animals Everywhere. Kyle, what's up?
Just loving that Noah and my Noah bobblehead are our official podcast sponsors today.
Yeah, thank you, Noah, for putting all the animals on the ark. We are greatly appreciative of that. Be sure to do your weekly homework. Like the podcast on Facebook if you haven't already. / tell your friends to like the podcast on Facebook. And also follow us on Twitter for weekend tweets.
At GetBuckets_pod.
At GetBuckets_pod. Don't forget the underscore. All right, we had an exciting weekend of college football. Lots of fun games. I didn't really move from my couch on Saturday. Did you?
I had to Saturday night, but from about noon until 7, I didn't move at all.
Sounds like my day. All right, well, I'll start with you. Who is your most impressive team from Saturday?
Well, that's kind of a trick question at this point for me because my most impressive team actually played Friday night. Arizona State hosted the Missouri Tigers, who were actually ranked 21st in the nation. And Arizona State kind of came out and took it to Missouri early, it seemed like. And it really seemed like they had gained control of the game by the fourth quarter, and Missouri came storming back. But luckily for Arizona State, Missouri decided to ice their own kicker, and he missed a field goal that could have won the game at the end of regulation. And Arizona State went and scored in overtime and beat Missouri. And I was impressed with their defense. Their defense was fairly good. They weren't great, but they were just penalized a lot was their biggest issue. But their quarterback, I have no idea how to say his name. I think it's Osweiler.
Exactly.
Was 24 of 32 for 350 yards and 3 touchdowns. And he's 6'8". He's a giant. And I think he can pick apart a lot of Pac-12 defenses this year.
That leads to my next question. How do you think Arizona State will do in the Pac-12?
I think they'll do pretty well. I could see them, honestly, finding a way to sneak into the brand new Pac-12 championship game. I could see that happening. I don't think they'll be as good as Oregon is. I mean,
that's kind of hard.
Actually good.
Oh, no, we're good.
But USC doesn't have a ton to play for this year. They weren't super impressive on Saturday. So I think Arizona State could have a good year this year. If they need to work on the penalties a little bit. But other than that, they looked very good against Missouri.
That was a problem that bothered them last year, too. I think they were one of the most highly penalized teams. And so it doesn't seem as things have changed. And as long as you have Vontaze...
Are we talking about last year or this year?
We're talking about both.
I thought we were talking about this year. I thought we were talking about this past weekend.
Actually. Well, I was establishing that they had a problem in the past.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, as long as you have the biggest thug in America on your defensive line, then you're going to be penalized for it. That kid is dirty.
He's awesome, though.
He is good, but he's quite dirty.
He is. And he's a lot of the reason those penalties were coming in. He doesn't really control himself very well in game.
No. My most impressive team, a little off the board here, was Iowa State. I caught the end of this game. They won a triple overtime thriller at home against their rival Iowa, and it took a nice drive late in the fourth quarter just to tie the game, and then they went back and forth in the overtimes before finally holding Iowa to a field goal in the third overtime and then punching it in. And Iowa State may not be that good this year, but they're always going to beat someone good. Does that make sense? Like last year, Texas might not have been good, but they beat them. They always win games that you really don't think they have any business winning. And I think they may pull a few more of those. I don't think they'll be like Oklahoma or anyone, but I wouldn't be surprised if they hung with a lot of the teams that they're not supposed to hang with, like probably Texas, A&M, and Tech, and all those teams. I wouldn't be surprised if they beat one or two of those.
I would agree with you. Steele Jantz, the Iowa State quarterback, showed that he might have some steel cojones down there. He made big play after big play, and a lot of what he did was just being mobile and getting outside of the pocket and making things happen on the fly. That said, Iowa State really isn't that good, but I agree with you that they'll surprise someone, whether it be a Baylor or a Texas Tech or somebody like that.
Okay, let's go to a quarterback controversy. During the BYU-Texas game, Garrett Gilbert started 2 of 8 for just 8 yards and a pick, and anytime he went on the field after that, he was booed by the fans, and the fans have really fallen in love with anyone that'll move the offense, and right now that seems to be David Ash and Case McCoy to an extent, who they are now co-starters. How would you label the quarterback situation?
I guess the best way that it could be labeled is a either or type of situation. I don't know that there actually will be a starter as much as there will be a, we're going to run these two guys out here and try to confuse UCLA.
I think Texas is in trouble until they get something figured out. I mean, they're not in a good spot based on who they've played, how they've looked so far, and the teams that they're going to have to play. With everything going on that team, they're in trouble again.
I agree with you, but I will say that every Big 12 team was disappointed when they heard that Garrett Gilbert was going to be benched, because I'm pretty sure everybody just loved playing him. And now at least McCoy or Ash is going to get the opportunity to get some in-game experience before getting into the Big 12. And I think Texas might struggle for a little while, and then you'll see them compete with someone really good, and then they'll kind of keep struggling. I just don't think they'll have it quite have it this year.
I was impressed with Case McCoy whenever he started throwing at Jackson Shipley, but before that, I was more impressed with David Ash's ability to actually move the offense. So I'm not sure. I don't believe in 2 quarterback systems. I don't think they work, but I'm also not sure on what Mac Brown feels about that. So it'll be interesting to see what they do moving forward. Let's move on to a game where you were bailed out of a pick when Notre Dame decided to turn the ball over and lost
Take it easy. I saw
to
this
Michigan.
one coming from a mile away.
There's no way you saw that coming.
I was never even doubtful that Denard Robinson would lead Michigan back. I don't know why you would even think about picking Notre Dame in that game.
Let's talk about that.
It wasn't even close.
Denard Robinson is throwing these up for anybody to catch. It just happens that Notre Dame's secondary doesn't know what's going on. It was embarrassing because Denard Robinson's being made to look like this amazing quarterback and making these, I guess, great plays. He's just throwing it up for grabs. They're awful passes.
I was not impressed with Denard Robinson, really much at all. I mean, good for them. He brought his team back from the grave, essentially, a couple different times. He's very, very fast. He runs the ball well, but his arm and decision-making are suspect at best. I tweeted over the weekend that I would take Robert Griffin over Denard Robinson every time, and it's because Griffin has an arm, Griffin's a little more composed, and I really like Denard Robinson. I heard his interview after the game. Really nice guy, it seemed like. Very well spoken, but I'm just not sure that he can ever be a very good college quarterback.
He can't. I mean, we've seen really the extent of what he does, and it involves a lot of running and involves a lot of luck, really, because some of the passes that he throws, especially the ones that get intercepted, you're like, why? But then when he completes the touchdown pass that should be the same, why are you doing that? It's like it gets overlooked, and it's like, oh, well, the other guy, our team caught it. It's okay. But these passes, especially all the passes to really tie the game, including the fade at the end of the game, was just a joke of the Notre Dame secondary. And I don't know number 4's name, but I don't know if I'd ever want to go back to school if I was number 4.
And I mean, while number 4 did end the game on an incredibly bad note, the entire Notre Dame secondary, I'm pretty sure me, you, and Joey could have tried it out there and put up at least the same type of effort that the Notre Dame secondary did. It's almost like all through practices, the secondary got no attention. They were just out there goofing around, grabbing each other's butts. They looked absolutely terrible.
Yeah, I mean, it got to the point where it was the 30 seconds left, whatever Denard had to work with, and I was like, can you believe that Notre Dame's going to win this game? Then Joey's like, oh, you spoke too soon. Like, and this 5'7" midget comes out of nowhere and starts running around the field, and Notre Dame's chasing him and can't catch him. And then, not only that, what surprised me is that Michigan ran another play. That surprised me. With 8 seconds and no timeout, that they would run another play, but it worked. And I'm really just more upset that Notre Dame lost the game in the pick.
I think a lot of that running another play came from the fact that Notre Dame was the better team. They just didn't take care of the ball. I don't think Michigan had confidence to beat Notre Dame were it to go into overtime. And I think that's where a lot of that came from. Being a Baylor fan, I know a lot about taking a little extra risk to try to end the game early.
Something I heard Kirk Herbstreit say was that Notre Dame should be 2-0, and it really shouldn't be close. They should have won both these games by a large margin, but their 9 turnovers through 2 games is awful, and it's preventing them from having a 2-0 record, and now they're sitting at 0-2 and have to go play Michigan State on Saturday. And if you turn the ball over against that team, who's going to be the best team they've played so far, if you turn the ball over against that team, I mean, you're going to be 0-3 and really irrelevant by the 3rd week of the season. Because I still think they're at a point where they can turn it around and still have some national attention because, I mean, they're a good team. They're just, their ability to hold on to the ball is quite troubling.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I don't think there's any way they can beat Michigan State unless they just take care of the ball a lot more.
All right, let's move on to games to pick, which started out about as expected, although I'm going to defend it in a minute. Kyle, you went 5-0 last week. Congratulations. That may be the first perfect week we've had. So
pretty typical around here, though. I'm kind of a genius.
I went 3-2. My 2 losses were a Missouri missed field goal at the end of regulation, which would have won the game, and also a Notre Dame collapse to lose that game. Otherwise, I would have been 5-0, and I could have celebrated. But now I'm already 2 games down with like 14 weeks to go. Already.
Woulda, coulda, shoulda, Harv. Woulda, coulda, shoulda.
I'm already digging a nice hole, so we'll see what happens. All right, so LSU's going to Mississippi State on Thursday. Kyle, who are you taking in this ranked matchup?
I'm going to take LSU. I think that Les Miles is going to walk in. I think he's going to eat some grass, and I think he's going to coach his Tigers to victory.
I don't want to take LSU, but I don't feel like this is the game to take the chance on. So I will take LSU as well to try and preserve this 2-game hole that I'm in and live to fight another day. Oklahoma going to Florida State, a top 5 matchup. Oklahoma number 1, Florida State number 5. This should be a good game based on what I've seen so far of both these teams. I will take Florida State. I will take the home underdog. Who are you taking?
I'm going to take Oklahoma. Florida State, they need to prove something to me before I ever pick them. I feel like ever since I've really seriously paid attention to college football, that Florida State has been the team that is overranked at the beginning of every year, and I think this year is no different. I think they're a top 25 team. I don't think they're a top 5 team like Oklahoma is. So give me the Sooners.
You can have them. I'm stealing a game right there.
I'll take them.
I'm stealing a game.
You're not stealing anything. Welcome, Harv, to a 3-game hole.
Michigan State is going to South Bend to play Notre Dame. on Saturday. I took Notre Dame last week. Didn't work out for me. So what am I going to do this week? I'm going to take them again. Give me the Irish. Give me the win. Hold on to the ball.
Until Notre Dame stops turning the ball over, I can't pick them. And it's fun watching you pick them and suffer because of that. So I'll take the Spartans.
If they win this week, can that count as 2 games?
On a scale from 1 to 10, no.
It's not a scale of 1 to 10. All right. We talked about Texas earlier. They're going to UCLA. Who are you taking here?
I'm going to take Texas. I think they're going to pull some tricks out of the bag, and I think they'll win another close one.
I'm taking Texas because I don't know how good UCLA is, really. I haven't seen them play yet this year, and I feel like starting the game on the right foot with either McCoy or David Ash is better than the wrong foot with Garrett Gilbert and digging yourself a hole like they did against BYU. So I'll take Texas as well. Another Pac-12 game, Stanford at Arizona. I will take Stanford. Who will you have?
Stanford is very good. Andrew Luck is very good. I'm taking Stanford.
Only reason we need. We agree on that. And then the last game, I tried to sucker you into taking this. Auburn going to Clemson. Your Clemson Tigers. Who are you taking?
Give me Clemson.
Yes. All right, I will take
it.
Yes, it did. I will take Auburn. I will take Auburn, who kind of rebounded last week after we both thought that they were a bad team because they almost lost to Utah State. Yeah. So then they come back and they beat Mississippi State and score 41 points. So I'll take Auburn.
I'm taking Clemson. Clemson had Auburn beat last year, missed a field goal, ended up in overtime, and Auburn beat them. Clemson is going to be bumping for this game. They're 2-0, even though they have 2 bad showings against 2 bad teams. I'm picking completely with my heart when I said I would it. So go Tigers.
All right, so that wraps up games to pick. Briefly, we can talk about the NFL a little bit. Texans won big, and you don't see this too often. But it was 34-7. Texans beat the Colts, who look awful without Peyton Manning. I mean, that's going to be a rough season if they don't get him back in some form, whether it's just standing on the sideline, really, or anything.
Yeah, you don't necessarily want to read too much into this because the Colts have never really been great in any other facet than Peyton Manning keeps them in games. But the Texans ran all over the Colts, 167 rushing yards, most of that coming from Ben Tate, a little of it coming from Derek Ward. And Schaub played well. He threw 2 interceptions against 1 touchdown, but one of them was kind of a fluky interception, and I don't think we'll see that performance from him much more. But the Colts just aren't the team to judge a team against this year.
I agree completely. And then last night in primetime, the Cowboys had the game wrapped up against the Jets, and then the fourth quarter came, and Tony Romo showed up, and the Jets escaped with a victory. Their play, particularly Tony Romo's play in the fourth quarter, looks like something you'd see in college. It was bad. That last interception, Darrelle Revis, I don't know what he was thinking. I mean, there's no excuse for that.
Well, that, and they were ready to punch the ball in. I think to go up 31-17 is what it would have ended up being at the time.
Yep.
And Romo ran the ball, which I think was the right decision, but he just needed to protect the ball more because even a field goal at that point would have given them a 2-possession lead. And he ended up fumbling that. The Cowboys played good defense on the next drive, and really the blocked punt is what sent the Cowboys into chaos, and that's what made them fall apart to me. That was
a critical error too. I know that the Jets are getting a lot of credit for blocking the punt, but that was all Cowboys. That was a missed assignment he just came unblocked through the middle, which is probably not where you want to have a hole.
Right. And I mean, if I'm a Cowboys fan, I've got to be a little frustrated with Romo, who played great for 3 quarters, fell apart in the 4th quarter, threw that interception, and they cut to Romo, and he's smiling. I mean, he's got a smile on his face after he essentially threw the game away. He had an 84.5 quarterback rating in ESPN's new system through the first 3 quarters, and in the 4th quarter, he had a quarterback rating of 10. 10 out of, I think the new scale is of 100 for ESPN's, but 10. That is pathetic. He just fell apart in that 4th quarter.
Yeah, that's rough.
Midway through our podcast today, a special guest entered my personal studio. Cameron Slanina, one of my roommates, and my Darren. It's not a video podcast, so waving does no good.
Hi.
Is here with me. Still kind of new. Gave me some good information for the time that he was in here today, and I'm proud of him for that. And he'll be joining me hopefully on a weekly basis.
Yeah, Harvey Nation stats and info over here. Joey ran it well, as always. So we have interns. So this is how the podcast is growing. It's not growing in followers, it's growing in the number of people we're adding to it.
Soon enough, we'll actually have more people working for us than listening to us. So that should be fun.
I would anticipate that happens by probably mid-November at the rate we're going.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. Once college basketball season gets here, the staff's really going to just jump very high. On the subject of Luke Walton, I know I've mentioned him every podcast thus far into the podcast existence, but I will be taking a temporary break from that in honor of the NBA lockout. We will be remembering Luke and his star play for the Los Angeles Lakers, his wonderful inbound passes, by being silent about him. We feel it's the best way to honor him. We've discussed it among ourselves, among our interns, among our listeners, and that's what we've decided to do.
Absolutely. So with that said, have a great week and get buckets.
Stella!
All the other kids with the phone, kids